The following is a World-Class Bullshitters exclusive.
Hey Star Wars fans, have you ever wanted to learn if Obi Wan Kenobi likes boys or girls? Well, neither did I, but apparently this new Star Wars book is focused on just that. Isn't it awesome to be a Star Wars fan? So if you're an Obi Wan Kenobi fan, my condolences to you because your homeboy just got over on Disney Plus, and now there's another stupid novel coming in to burn the rest. The Obi Wan Kenobi legacy is Darth Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi. He's on a funeral pyre, burning, turning to dust. Except in Star Wars, when they burn a Jedi, they become one with the Force and all that other crap. Here in the real world, when Star Wars dies, they take the corpse, flip it over, and well, you know the rest because Disney's in charge. It is sort of a new trend for Star Wars, being so obsessed with the sex of the characters. Like, there's always been fan fiction, but official Star Wars has kind of strayed away from that because the story is a little bigger. I'm more focused on the internal struggles of good versus evil than, well, maybe Obi Wan Kenobi could be bisexual or asexual or any kind of sexual. Remember a few years ago when we learned that Lando Calrissian was pansexual? How much did that add to the character? How much better was Solo: A Star Wars Story? How much better was Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker? Well, it didn't help the films, so what was the point? Again, I'm going to ask you that same question. What is the point of learning about Obi Wan Kenobi's internal sexual struggle? Those are words I didn't think would follow Obi Wan Kenobi. Normally it's like, hey, remember when Obi Wan Kenobi sacrificed himself when he fought Darth Vader? Hey, remember when Obi Wan Kenobi taught Luke about the Force? Hey, remember that time Obi Wan Kenobi defeated Anakin in combat and then Anakin got lit on fire by a volcano? Yeah, Obi Wan Kenobi usually isn't followed by some sexual question. It just doesn't go with Star Wars. It's like oil and water, yet modern day Lucasfilm wants to pour them together, but in reality they're just pouring fuel on a fire that is Star Wars burning down. It's tiresome because it's been years and they keep finding new ways to screw with everyone's favorite characters. At first it was Han Solo. They didn't respect Han Solo. He was a deadbeat dad, a loser, a douchebag. He lost his ship and what happens? He dies. Then Luke Skywalker. Well, he was an asshole. He ran away. He was a deadbeat uncle. He couldn't continue the Jedi legacy because in a vision he tried to kill Kylo Ren in his sleep. What kind of dumb shit was that? Nobody liked The Last Jedi, and if they tell you they do, they're fucking lying. Moving on. So now we have Obi Wan Kenobi. The show was stupid, but he wasn't the worst part of his own show. The bad guys, the other heroes, everything else was just lesser than it should have been, and it seems like 2022 is the year that Obi Wan Kenobi, well, he might not make it out of 2022 because this book, well, let's just talk about this book, shall we? In the latest example of Disney's almost fetishistic desire to both retcon Star Wars continuity and lazily identity swap the numerous classic pop culture icons that have come under their own ownership in recent years, the upcoming prequel-era novel Star Wars Padawan features a moment which implies that Obi-Wan Kenobi is bisexual. I bet George Lucas is really happy about this one. Written by young adult fanfiction. Excuse me, it's not fanfiction. I digress. Written by young adult fiction writer Kiersten White, perhaps best known for her Paranormalcy series, Star Wars Padawan is set during the early years of Obi-Wan's training under Qui-Gon Jinn and finds the young Jedi running off with his master to undertake an official Jedi mission after growing restless with the slower, more mindful parts of his training. Obi-Wan really wants to be a good Padawan, reads a synopsis of the novel. The best Padawan, even. But that's feeling more and more impossible with his new master, Qui-Gon Jinn. All of Obi-Wan's friends are off training to be real Jedi, getting mission experience, while he's still on Coruscant, practicing his forms and sitting in silent contemplation. Oh good, Obi-Wan Kenobi's gonna be a petulant little bitch. Just what I wanted too. Ever since Qui-Gon's former master Dooku left the Order, it feels like who the fuck? Look, I know I can say who writes this shit, but I literally just read that it's Kiersten White. Wow. It used to be you had writers like J.W. Rinsler and A.C. Crispin and G.S. McFly. Wait, he didn't write Star Wars, but A Match Made in Space is a great book. I digress, though. Who the hell? There has to be some sort of great reset where everyone is now dumber, and this is what is acceptable for Star Wars. The synopsis concludes, upon arriving on a mysterious, lush planet, he encounters a group of teenagers with no adult supervision. Instead of asking who's writing this shit, I'm gonna ask this, why? Star Wars young adult. I know I sound crazy, like, oh dude, you're not a young adult, why do you give a shit? Let me tell you why. Because I was a kid into Star Wars many, many years ago. Well, not that many years ago. I'm still fairly young. But my point is, I grew up with Star Wars. I read Star Wars for kids. I read Star Wars for the mainstream. I read Star Wars technical books. I read it all. But we used to have Star Wars books for kids, and they weren't focused on dumb shit like this. I remember reading the Obi Wan Kenobi saga back in the day before they retconned all this shit. Not the new Jedi Order, but the Young Jedi or some shit like that. Yeah, I read this story 20 years ago, 24 years ago almost at this point, and the last time I checked, it didn't cover Obi Wan Kenobi dealing with his sexuality. It dealt with a kid becoming a Jedi, and I don't remember Obi Wan Kenobi being a kind of twat about everything either. But hey, it's 2022, and I guess that's what they think kids want, right? Not heroic heroes, not awesome, larger-than-life stories. No, the dumb shit you focus on. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take the properties that everybody likes, and we're going to make it grounded. By grounded, instead of, taking out the lightsabers and blasters, which would be fucking stupid, we're going to put Star Wars in middle school, high school, early age. It's like Star Wars and Mean Girls. Not that I've ever seen that movie. None of it fits together at all. I'm really glad that Disney did get rid of the EU for stuff like this. I mean, I'm that one guy that thinks The Courtship of Princess Leia is an okay book. And, even I will say that they screwed the pooch. Now here's where it gets interesting. Though Padawan is set to officially hit shelves on July 26th, copies of the book began to sprout up in public at least 4 days prior to the official release. With the novel in hand, eager readers soon discovered that the novel featured a scene which saw the future Jedi legend question his sexuality. Oh, fuck. Considering the possibility that he is either bisexual and or asexual. Someone who has little or no interest in sex, after being hit on by one male ally. Will article, we all know what asexual is. Shared by our Twitter user, the moment occurs during a rhetorical discussion on love and romance between Obi-Wan and one of the aforementioned teenagers, Castle. Taken aback by the latter's warning that another teenager is not romantically available, Obi-Wan informs Castle, I can't form attachments like that anyway. Couldn't he though? If he didn't go back, then he questioned himself. Was that something he would ever want? It had always been so forbidden. Even thinking about it was like holding his hand right next to a lightsaber blade. He knew some of his friends had dabbled in physical relationships. Suspected Siri would have been open to it, had he ever wanted to. Obi-Wan continued referencing to his previous attraction to fellow Jedi Siri, Tachi, but had always seemed like an obstacle, not a temptation. And besides, Obi-Wan said, rushing to change the subject for himself more than anyone, I would never want to be in a relationship with a leader. Too close to politicians or royalty. I'm sure if I ever fell in love, it would be with someone calm, peaceful, easy to get along with. So you want someone who doesn't like to challenge you, replies Castle, to which Obi-Wan laughed and then shrugged. I don't know what I want, if we're being honest. Mirroring Obi-Wan's shrug, Castle opens up. Not many choices around here. I don't think love is in my future either, and I'm fine with it, he opines to the Jedi. As long as I have the power to keep my family safe, that's enough for me. Though I will admit I've been curious about kissing and why Agil and Zay Bree enjoy it so much. So if you're ever curious too, let me know. To this flirtation, Obi-Wan said to have blushed before finding himself flustered and stammering like an awkward teenager in a generic rom-com. I will, he tells Castle. Let you know, I mean. Not that I will do that right now with you, or anyone. Turning inwards once again, Obi-Wan questions, would he ever get to the point where kissing someone felt like anything less than betrayal to himself and the Jedi? And if he did get to that point, who would he want to kiss? The Lenorahans, the species which Castle and his friends belonged to, were confident and charismatic, which was attractive, but he couldn't imagine just kissing any of them. Maybe he didn't want to be with any of them, but rather to be more like each of them. He debates with himself. Oh good, that's all he's doing with himself. Or maybe he wanted to kiss all of them. Not Mem, though, because he had feelings that would upset her very much. Ultimately, Obi-Wan concludes he wasn't going to kiss any of them, regardless. Everything on Lenahara seemed simple and felt impossibly complicated, and that would doubtless make it all the worse, before returning to their tasks of harvesting crops. Notably, this vague hint at Obi-Wan is either bi or asexual is yet another example of modern Hollywood using the absence or evidence to expect to see defenders of this abrupt change, likely arguing that this moment can still make sense in the character, as he never outright denies his attraction to men, or being physical with Siri or Satine Kryze to confirm an established character, blah blah blah. So upon reading this, my first takeaway is, why is this Star Wars now? Like, how did it get here? Again, I was a kid not that long ago, and we had Star Wars books. Like, the thing that Disney is fucking up with across the board is the Marvel and Star Wars brands. We've had Star Wars movies, video games, comic books, and everything. and Marvel movies, comic books, and video games before Disney got involved. They're picking up the pieces and trying to be the second wave of a lot of these things. And to their credit, they've done nothing right with Star Wars. And with Obi Wan Kenobi specifically, why is it a teeny bopper drama, he said, she said? Like, is this era interesting? I get it. It's for the young adult audience. But again, when I was that age, I was more interested in the lightsabers and the action and the adventure. It's Star Wars. Stop trying to make Star Wars weird or for girls or whatever you're doing. Because if we look at the demographics, most young adult novels are for girls. So again, this is all that push to get girls to like Star Wars. It didn't work with the movies. It didn't work with the other stuff. And now it's not going to work with the young adult novels. You can't make Obi Wan Kenobi a heartthrob and bi or a or whatever the fuck kind of sexual he is. I don't give a damn. It's a fucking Jedi character. What I've taken away from most of this isn't necessarily making Obi-Wan Kenobi asexual, as it's making Obi-Wan Kenobi a slave to the Jedi tradition. That's what I kind of took away from this article. And that's the one thing I really dislike about the Jedi. I've never understood making him a monk or a priest or whatever George Lucas did back in 1999 or 2002. I never really thought about Luke Skywalker's wife, but then when Mara Jade popped up and he married her in the books and they had kids and stuff, it like made sense for Jedi to have family in this new age. And I know this is the old era and all this other stuff, but why ever make the Jedi like monks who can't have love and no physical contact? I always thought it was weird, but what the hell? So there's definitely a weird obsession with these characters' sex lives. Back in 1995, there was a little film called Mallrats. Back then it was a joke. It was okay to poke fun at the people that wanted to obsess with the characters' sex lives. Stan Lee even says back then we didn't worry about that stuff. Let's not worry about it now either. These are the Star Wars characters. Sex doesn't really fit in. It's like Han Solo and Princess Leia kiss on screen and then they have babies in the future and maybe one day Luke will get a girlfriend and all this other shit. It's not really a sex franchise like James Bond. It's implied he plows lots of women. Cool, don't ever take that out of James Bond. James Bond and his sex life go hand in hand. Obi-Wan Kenobi and the other Star Wars characters never have. It just feels, again, like water and oil. They don't really gel. One sits above the other, and it's really kind of ugly when you look at it long term. Plus, it's dangerous for the environment. If anything, I can say with absolute certainty, Disney Star Wars is bad for the environment. All of this stuff, all of the carbon built up, I don't really know how the shit works. I really don't care, but all of it's going to end up in a landfill or at a dollar store. And I feel bad because of the demographic of people that shop at the dollar store. Don't poor kids deserve good Star Wars? Like, it sucks that they're going to go to the dollar store or Ollie's and find Rey and Finn and all these other generic Star Wars characters, High Republic books, all this shit. Kids deserve the original trilogy. Hell, give them the prequels too. It's what I grew up and look at us. We had much better Star Wars than they have today. But I digress. So folks, what do you think of this? Isn't it a little weird to obsess over the sex lives of Obi-Wan Kenobi and other Star Wars characters in a galaxy far, far away? Look, I get it. His name is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got bi in the fucking title. Oh, bi. Oh god, there it is. What's next? If he's bi, what's Qui-Gon Jinn? And what about Mace Windu? And oh god, now I'm focused on the sex lives of every Jedi. Damn it, Disney! Next time I watch the prequels, I'm not going to be able to focus on anything besides the sex lives of the Jedi. Who is Mace Windu plowing? What did Yoda shove up where? Whoa, what about Yaddle? Coyote-Mundi? That dude's a freak. See, I don't care. Oh my god, it's so weird when you make it was a parody. Star Wars now feels like it's written by Kevin Smith. And look what happens when Kevin Smith writes He-Man. Any He-Man fans out there want a tissue? I got a whole box of them. Folks, this is a trend I hate in entertainment. I don't like when you go to read your favorite characters, 10 years later, and you're sitting here reading about their sex lives, or if they're questioning this or that. It's unimportant stuff that doesn't make the character better. It's never about characters not confirming with my worldviews, or if they're gay or this or that, I'm going to dislike them. Like, look, making Grand Moff Tarkin gay all those years ago didn't make me change my view of the first Star Wars film. It just made me question Star Wars a little bit. Mainly, why? Why is it important that Grand Moff Tarkin's gay? Does it add anything? No, you know that. It doesn't make Star Wars better. It should be the directive of Disney Star Wars. If you're going to add shit in a galaxy far, far away, Make it better. Don't make it worse. Don't make it one of your weird shit show experiments with assholes in charge that want to throw their stilted worldviews because, look, they suck at everything else, but they suck the right corporate dick, they get the right job, and now it's their time to tell their story in the Star Wars universe. No matter what they grew up with, no matter how they look or this or that, their story is going to be told in Star Wars, and that's what's important, right? A fucking vehicle for unheard voices. Isn't that what Star Wars is always meant to be? No, it's fantasy in space in a galaxy far, far away, and god damn it, I can't wait till it returns to that one day. So folks, if you like this kind of content, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with your bell notification turned on to all. We know you like Star Wars content because we see those numbers, so make sure you check out our other Star Wars content, and well, we have Marvel and other geek culture, actually just pop culture in general. Folks, if you like live content, make sure you join us on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the World Class Bullshitters podcast, episode 317 this week. We've been doing this for a minute, as you can tell, and it's still a lot of fun. This week we have some games, word of the week, all sorts of new things to talk about, but I'm not going to tell you here. You got to join us live because that's the fun part. You don't want the surprise spoiled, do you? Do you want me to tell you what you're getting for Christmas as well? I mean, you're going to like it. I put out a lot this year. It's kind of pricey, but you're going to enjoy it. And instead of me telling you right now in July, you're going to wait 5 months to the day, and you're going to wake up and thank me later. But if you want to thank me now, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and check out our Patreon page. $1 helps, but $5 a month, which is only 17 cents a day, gets you access to our audio tier, which gets you thousands and thousands of hours of digital content. But going up slightly higher, and you get the video tier. We just dropped a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's review. Well, it was Shredder's Revenge, but we reviewed that game. And so you can watch that on the video tier, and if you're at the audio tier, you probably have listened to that already. So patrons, tell us what you like, and if you got requests, tell us over there as well. So folks, if you want a direct line to the epitome of pop culture, join patreon.com/worldclassbs today. And if you want even more, something physical, then go to shopwcbs.com. Our store features World Class Bullshitters merchandise as far as the eye can see. We have shirts, we have posters, we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, you name it. We have baby onesies, we got them all. So we got the future covered too. But most importantly, we're here for you to provide excellent content all the time. So folks, be on the lookout for more from World Class Bullshitters. But in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. And if you ever have the opportunity to work on Star Wars, please do a better job than this chick.